New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.
Live from a secure concrete bunker somewhere in Ohio, New Thought Media Network presents Pastor Michael Mangus with Friday's Fireside Chat, spiritual conversation for today. Here he is from the secret radio room, surrounded by thousands of watts, Pastor Michael Mangus.
Well, good evening, everyone. From across the nation and around the world, it is time once again for another fun-filled, throw-packed, and guaranteed always exciting edition of the Fireside Chat here on the New Thought Media Network. I am Pastor Michael Mangus, again broadcasting from the secret radio room surrounded by thousands, and I mean thousands of watts, in the secure concrete bunker somewhere in Akron, Ohio, that is so top secret. It requires a high level of security, and there's only two people that know where I'm at. And even though our guest this evening, Reverend Briz, he thinks he knows, he has no clue where the super secret bunker is located. Well, we have a wonderful show for you this evening. Please feel free to interact with us by posting your comment on Facebook. And for all my shy people out there, all you have to do is just write me an email, pastormichaelmangus@gmail.com, pastormichaelmangus@gmail.com. So the purpose of our Fireside Chat is always to get real. We go ahead and face the issues that are confronting us today, hopefully with a spiritual bend to them. And again, the views and opinions expressed are my own. And again, you don't have to agree with me. I don't want you to. I want you, again, for us to have a conversation about what is going on in the world today. So our scheduled guest this evening, live from the CSL convention in Poland Springs, is the Chief Operational Officer, the Chief Inspirational Officer of the New Thought Media Network. And he cringes when I say this, my boss, the Reverend Robert Brzezinski. And I thought that he was going to have a special guest, but oh well. Out of all those ministers, Robert, all those ministers, he couldn't find anyone. That's okay. Robert will be serving drinks later on in the hospitality suite for all those ministers who are watching. He'll be mixing them up a little bit later on. All right. Well, anyhow, hi there. And let's go to the news here. What we're covering here, this is from CNN. The White House has launched a hotline for Americans to request free at-home COVID-19 tests. In addition to the website launched earlier this week. Also, COVID-19 cases were detected in recent arrivals into Beijing for the upcoming Winter Olympics. And also, large CDC study shows that boosters provide the best protection against Omicron. And also, Adele, hello, it's me. She announced the postponement of her Las Vegas residency, saying that COVID-19 has rendered it impossible to move forward. So to Diego, I'm sorry. If you're going to Vegas, you're not going to be able to see Adele. Maybe in the future. So after the Omicron wave, here is what experts say could come next in 2022. Picture this. A not too distant future. Sounds like the Twilight Zone. Picture this, a not too distant future when you can book that summer trip to Italy, or you don't have to remember to take off your mask for graduation photos. Now, after the past 25 months, forgetting the pandemic for even a little while may sound like a fantasy. After all, the coronavirus has gotten our hopes up before. But infectious disease experts say that there just may be an end in sight. Maybe. Boy, that sounds clear, doesn't it? Well, let's say that it's not outside the realm of possibility for 2022. That's what they're saying here. And Dr. Tom Frieden, who is the director of the U.S. Center for Disease Control and Prevention under President Obama, and who is now the CEO and president of Resolve to Save Lives, said this: I think if we do it right, we're going to have a 2022 in which COVID doesn't dominate our lives so much. Isn't that good news? And what the next part of the pandemic looks like, and when it will get there, what Dr. Yvonne Maldonado, who's an epidemiologist and infectious disease expert at Sanford Medicine, an expert at federal agencies, academic colleges, and also local public health leaders, they also spent the holiday trying to figure out what's up next. And there is a general consensus among the experts of what is going to happen, which is we don't know what's going to happen. Isn't that interesting? I'm going to go to the end of this article because it's really good. Dr. Anthony Fauci, who is the director of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, says that he hopes that scenario doesn't come to pass, the worst case scenario. He says, I can't give you a statistic of what the chance of that happening, but we have to be prepared for it. So we hope for the best and we prepare for the worst. Now, the next expert, I've been trying to practice his name, so we'll see how well I do. He says, choose your own adventure out of the pandemic. The U.S. already has tools to limit new variants and to end the pandemic quickly, said Dr. Panagis Galiatsatos. I hope I pronounced that right. Anybody who has Greek here, I'm sorry about that. But anyhow, I don't think that we need any more scientific breakthroughs. We know how to stop the severe COVID, and that is vaccines, said the assistant professor of medicine and expert in pulmonary and critical care at Johns Hopkins. Galiatsatos does hundreds of talks every single year with community groups to encourage more and more people to get vaccinated. He thinks that science will have to continue this outreach. Galiatsatos says this. He says, we have the weapons to transform COVID into nothing but a bad cold. We have the science. All the people will need is access to the interventions, and we need to regain trust. He said that only about a quarter of the U.S. population is fully vaccinated and boosted, according to the CDC. The more people who are unvaccinated, the more will end up in the hospital. The more cases, the more opportunities for new variants. That is why it's like choosing your own adventure, said the good doctor. And I am choosing the kind that puts us in a better frame of mind, that we reach people and get more people vaccinated and can end this pandemic and learn to adapt to it. Some good news, huh? Which means that they really don't know what's going to happen. But there is an end in sight here. The one thing I ask is this: what would love do in this situation? What would love do? If love is at the base of our spirituality, what would love do? And I read last week on the show about the Archbishop of Canterbury saying that getting vaccinated is the most Christian and spiritual thing that you could do. And that's been echoed by thousands of faith leaders, including the Pope around the world. And there are some New Thought centers not following the suggested guidelines from their local, state, and federal agencies and health departments. And on Facebook this week, a disgruntled truth student is now attending another church. She's attending in an evangelical church in her area because they have a whatsoever goes policy. You can wear a mask, you don't have to wear a mask, whatever. And the reason that they're attending this church is because of faith and belief, and because their local New Thought centers in their area have a mask policy. Okay, listen, it's their choice. However, yours truly as a spiritual leader, I truly want to keep everyone safe. And you may be a person of high consciousness. And the people that I know of high consciousness are still wearing a mask to protect themselves and other people. Now, does it mean that those in attendance don't have faith? No. And the individuals ending up in the ICUs are the one not vaccinated. And I was talking to a colleague a couple of weeks ago, and he said, well, why don't we take a look at this whole vaccine thing in another perspective? Why don't we go ahead and say and consider the vaccine as a miracle? And I know of and have had New Thought friends and ministers hospitalized over COVID. And again, as I've been saying here for the past 2 years now, let's be in faith and not in fear. I want us to be aware, but I also want us to, again, to take care of ourselves and to other people. Again, I can't tell you to get vaccinated. I would never do that. But I do support you in getting vaccinated unless told by your doctor. Again, there is some light at the end of the tunnel. We all take care of ourselves and other people. All right? Well, hi there. Welcome. You're in the midst of another fun-filled, thrill-packed edition of the Fireside Chat here on the New Thought Media Network. In just a few moments, we will have the Chief Inspirational Officer of the New Thought Media Network, the Reverend Robert Brzezinski, who will give us an update on what's happening in Palm Springs during the Centers for Spiritual Living Convention. In other news this week, UK authorities say that they have arrested 2 teens in connection with the Texas synagogue hostage incident. A man took 4 people hostage at the Congregation Beth Israel Synagogue in Colesbyville, Texas. The FBI has identified the suspect as 44-year-old British national. It's Maklik Akram, I think, Mr. Akram. And the hostages escaped, and Akram was shot dead at the scene. Okay, I can hear some of you already. I said, why does Michael have to be so negative about stuff? Why does he have to mention about synagogue shootings? Well, it's because the security of our centers or places of worship need to be a concern here. And again, I say concern and not fear here. Now, from reports, the hostage taker seemed like a very nice guy. And then all hell broke loose. And again, what I found out was that the rabbi was trained in active shooting and counterterrorism techniques. Again, taking a very calculated risk and knowing that the rest of the 3 hostages were right by a door, he took a calculated risk. He threw a chair at the hostage taker and then got out of the building. The moral of the story is this. All of our New Thought centers need to go through some type of security and active shooter training. The Tree of Life Synagogue in Pittsburgh, it's 2 hours away from me. When in the fall of 2018, an active shooter killed and injured many congregants there. There are several training organizations that hold security training. And they also do individual security audits of houses of worship. I think that we need to take advantage of those. And I know, again, the whole New Thought thing, if we ignore the situation, it will go away. Okay. Now, this may be true personally. However, when it happens over and over again, there is something that we need to do in the physical. It's the same thing as when we get insurance, or we go ahead and we protect our younger congregants while they attend youth church by, again, having background checks for all your people, and also us having a procedure for checking them in and also checking them out. Again, this is not a thing about fear. This is a thing about safety and about us being safe. And finally, we have this in the news. In the category of don't do this at the center that you minister that. All right. An Oklahoma pastor has apologized after he smeared spit on a man's face during a sermon that went viral. I can't make this stuff up. Pastor Michael Todd, a Transformation Church in Tulsa, was illustrating a Bible story in which Jesus healed a blind man by spitting on his hands and then touching the man's eyes, according to a video of his sermon on Sunday. And after leading the man to the pulpit and continuing his sermon, Pastor Todd coughed up some phlegm and eventually rubbed it on the face of the man, who remained on stage with his eyes closed. And Todd was trying to relay in his sermon that good Christians should keep the faith in God even when his vision doesn't make sense. And Todd was trending on Monday, with some people calling the illustration horrifying and disgusting. He also posted a video on social media later on Monday, writing, "It was never my intention to distract others from God's word and the message of Jesus. Even with the illustration, I apologize for my example of being too extreme and disgusting. I love everybody." So in the video, he said, "I just want to acknowledge what happened yesterday when the spit hit the fan." I can't make this stuff up. "I watched it back and it was disgusting. Like, that was gross. I want to validate everyone's feelings that it was a distraction to what I was really trying to do. And I was really trying to make the word come alive and for people to see the story. But yesterday it got too alive and I own that." Reverend Todd encouraged the people who have seen only the viral clip to watch the whole sermon, where he also addressed the man that he spit on. "For my brother, who I love and honor so much, I just called on him and he was bald before I spit on him. He's still bald today. So no miracle here. And the next time I need to rethink and do something different," Todd said. Transformation Church did not immediately respond to the request for comment on Tuesday. Todd and his wife have been pastoring the church since 2015, according to an online biography. All right. So my ordaining bishop, who lives in Tulsa, Bishop Carlton Pearson, who will be on our show hopefully in February or March, said that the church tends to crucify its own instead of bringing them back to fellowship. So again, social media has a tendency of doing this stuff that again, he did it in public, but the whole idea of having some counsel of some wiser ministers, and again, to take a look at why he did that. Mike Todd's a great preacher. Watch his sermon online. He's absolutely wonderful. And again, he needs to learn from this. Now, in some shamanic traditions, the medicine man or woman They do spit on people that they intend to heal. I don't make this stuff up again. But I would not recommend spitting on people or using spittle when you pray for healing or for a sermon illustration. I think he could have done it a little, he could have walked people through it rather than actually do it. And again, don't do this during a pandemic. That's not wise. Again, this is a public service announcement. Don't use spittle in your illustrations for your sermon. All right. That's just not wise. All right. 8:20, Diego. How about that? I'm done. What do you think? He says, that's wonderful. All right. So we're going to do some announcements and then we'll be right back with Reverend Robert Brzezinski, live at the CSL convention in Palm Springs. Yours truly is parking himself at Summit CSL currently. For more information, go to summitcsl.org. There you will find all kinds of information about our wonderful Sunday gathering online at 10:30 Eastern and 7:30 Pacific time in the morning. Right. All my West Coast friends, yeah, people actually get up early in the morning to come and see us. However, coming soon to the New Thought Media Network, we will be recording that and then playing it back in the afternoon. More details later. But grab your cup of coffee, your tea, your espresso. I do believe that we have one of the best services in New Thought because we have a balance of everything, a balance of music, a balance of message, and a balance of meditation. So again, join us on Sunday morning. Again, all the information to join us on the Zoom call is at summitcsl.org. And this Sunday, we will continue our review of the Introduction to the Science of Mind text with the topic, What It Does. It's given by our music director and independent New Thought minister, the Reverend Jonathan Miller. So again, please go to summitcsl.org for more information how to join the Zoom call. And our service is also simulcast on the Summit's Spiritual Center of Akron Facebook page and our Facebook page as past broadcasts of the Fireside Chat and yours truly when he does prayer here on the New Thought Media Network. Again, Robert has put together a brand new schedule. Do we have that, Diego? Our brand new schedule of all the current programs for 2022. If I went through each and every program, we would be here until midnight. So I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to do instead is to encourage you to go to our website that is ntmedia.org. And while there, after taking a look at our schedule, if you could go to the donate page and please give a generous one-time gift, or what you can do also is also partner with us on a monthly basis like Diana and I do. And again, we are asking you not just for your help, but we're asking you to partner with us. We have opportunity after opportunity every single day. And especially Robert was telling me some of the opportunities that we have and of the relationships that we built or he built over at the CSL convention this week. We have opportunities then to take this message to the world. We do have the technology and we're able to do it. So we ask for your help. Partner with us. Let's get this message to the world. ntmedia.org/donate. We appreciate it so very much. All right, Diego, let's go to a break here, and then we're going to have Reverend Briz on the other side of it. This is the Friday Evening Fireside Chat here on the New Thought Media Network.
There's one power, invisible, and you see it everywhere and every day. One power in...
Thank you, Center for Spiritual Living Denver, for your continued support. Thank you, Center for Spiritual Living Midtown Atlanta, for your monthly contribution. Thank you, Center for Spiritual Living North Jersey, for your monthly contribution. And please help us welcome Om Center for Spiritual Living in La Mesa, California. Thank you for your monthly donation. Thank you, Center for Spiritual Living Seattle, for your most generous donation. And a special thanks to Heckerland Foundation for your generous technology grant. And Suze Ogden, thank you for your very generous donation. And a big shout out to all our committed donors.
The views and opinions expressed by Pastor Michael Mangus are generally right. However, they are his own and do not reflect the views and opinions of New Thought Media Network, Centers for Spiritual Living, or any other person living or dead. As they say in the 12-Step Recovery Program, take what you like and leave the rest. Here again is Pastor Michael.
All the way from Palm Springs, California, we have from the hospitality suite.
Yes.
They are mixing up some really wonderful drinks. So all the ministers attending and all the practitioners, make sure that you come by the hospitality suite. I hear that Reverend Briz is really mixing them up there. And so again, introducing our Chief Inspirational Officer and also my boss, we present the Reverend Robert Brzezinski. Hello, Robert. Welcome.
Hello, Pastor Michael. I only cringe at that "I am your boss" line because anybody that knows you knows nobody can tell you what to do.
Oh, I take good direction. Come on. I don't.
Anyway, so here we are at the wonderful CSL conference in what was sunny Southern California when we started the program and is now well past twilight and going into dusk. Thank you for being with us here tonight, folks. The work of Centers for Spiritual Living is important, and it's big. It's huge. And we can't do that work without coming together on occasion to be together, to be connected, to reaffirm relationships and connections and learn and grow together. And that's what this week has been about. We have a hospitality suite. We're not mixing it up too bad or too hard. I'm pretty sure everybody makes it to their assignments in the morning. So,
that's nice of you. You boot them out the door at 7:00 and you say, "I'm sorry, you have to go." No. There's still nobody. There's nobody here at 7:00 but me. So what are some of the highlights from the conference this week? What are some of the things that stand out?
There is so much that stands out. I think the number one thing is anybody out there that does not know the name Gabriella Claiborne, you will, and you ought to. And I think it's a very, very important person for us to know in Centers for Spiritual Living. And there's so many things that are so important that have happened here. Having a transgender woman and a transgender man meet on a stage in almost any spiritual tradition is unheard of. And we witnessed that this week here. We witnessed and we heard a call to recognize that as Centers for Spiritual Living, as New Thought, as metaphysicians, as New Thought followers, as philosophers of New Thought, we must be more forward in our presentation of who we are, and that we have a moral and spiritual imperative to go forth and be a demonstration of how this philosophy can serve the evolution of humankind and can and is a bridge by which we can let go of the old stereotypical gender markers and so many other places, from social justice initiatives to peace initiatives to transgender initiatives to inclusive initiatives. The future is quite bright.
Well, how wonderful.
From what I saw this week.
Well, how wonderful in the inclusion. Well, again, Robert, and again, I see this online and also have talked to some people saying, well, you Centers for Spiritual Living. I shouldn't mock them. But basically, they say, okay, you guys shouldn't be involved in that stuff. Okay, it's okay that they're transgender. That's fine. You shouldn't be shouldn't talk from the pulpit. You shouldn't talk about inclusion. You shouldn't get involved in social issues. And how can we not now? That's my question. How can we not be involved in what is going on in the world with this wonderful practical spirituality that we talk about? Again, our time, what you're getting this week, our time has come to start speaking out. And that's one of the nice things about this network is we have the opportunity with this network, again, to speak up, speak out, and to teach new thought.
Yes.
Go ahead.
And to live new thought. Right. The word I think I've heard the most this week is authenticity. And if you're not being authentic, those people, everyone, life shuts you down and tunes you out very, very quickly. Any sense, the younger generations of today, if they have any sense that what you're doing is inauthentic, you're gone, you're done. And I understand that, and I get that because I see that on occasion. Not often, but I see that on occasion where someone, pulls an old stage joke to kind of get a laugh, but that's not authentic.
Right.
And we know that. And so there comes that, again, this moral and spiritual imperative. I have long said, once you understand the science of mind, once you have studied this philosophy at all, in any depth, one class, one reading of the book, once you understand this, once your mind goes, oh, aha, this is how it works. I get it. Once you get to that point, you can never go back. You can stick your head in the sand and you can try to pretend that this isn't working in your life. And you can try to pretend that you're a victim and that you're not at cause in what's going on in your life. And that's not going to change anything. We have a spiritual imperative to teach what we know, to share what we have learned, to share the demonstrations, to share the callings, to share every aspect of how this philosophy changes lives. And it's not me to change your life. It's not like I'm here to say, oh, here's what we need to do to change your life. Well, maybe for you, Michael.
You know my fault.
Talk about it. A checklist.
Hopefully, you know my strengths too. So go ahead.
Yeah, but a checklist of where I want you to change might be helpful. No, I joke, folks. I kid my brother. I kid my dear friend here but it's not about a checklist of change this, change that, change this. It's about being open to what wants to be known, what wants to be experienced in the new, in the now, in the next. The theme of this week has been be here now. Now that's not a new phrase. That phrase has been around for quite a while.
Yeah, Ram Dass. Go ahead.
Exactly. And yet I believe that is so important for where we are in the world. And yes, there are those detractors that want to find fault with what they perceive as CSL not being progressive enough or proactive enough or vocal enough or at fault and I'm telling you, what I see is a collective of incredibly heart-centered people doing everything they possibly can with what they have to be an inspirational message into the world, to provide others with the access to the resources and the teachings and the inspiration and the media and the music and the environment and the vibration that will give them the tools, the resources, the skills, and the permission to change their life and create what they truly desire.
If you wonder what you stumbled on to this evening, we have our man at the hotel the CSL convention, the Chief Inspirational Officer of the New Thought Media Network, our head visionary, and that is the Reverend Robert Brzezinski, kind of filling us in on what is going on. I heard that that Dr. Edward Viljoen really did a wonderful kickoff to the whole week. So tell us in a nutshell what you got out of his speech on, I think it was Tuesday night.
Yes. Much of what I've shared with you here this evening is informed and an affirmation of what Reverend Dr. Edward Viljoen shared with us on Tuesday night. And I do hope that that video will become available for public consumption without a paywall at some point. Not saying anybody should go, bootleg that, but if it happens, let me know so I can share it. And what I felt his central message is that we're 10 years into this experiment that is the Centers for Spiritual Living. Centers for Spiritual Living is a reimagining of older organizations that came together with their own collective cultural history. And over the last 10 years, we've developed our own cultural history that has had to heal some of the apparent misplaced separations, that has had to come to a new understanding. I've had so many great conversations about the new language we're developing with each other. And I remember 5 years ago, there was still the question of which camp did you come from? And today that question doesn't exist in the room.
Oh, wonderful.
I didn't hear it once. I did not ever hear anybody refer to anybody else as having come from one camp or another. That perception of who we are is fading and dropping away because, well, deeply we are one. And we are now embodying that more and more and more. And in our embodiment of that, there is a more natural, synergistic outpicturing of people that feel heard and people that feel respected and represented, and how they're working together to bring forth these great initiatives and projects and ideas for the next 10 years of what Centers for Spiritual Living will be.
And I believe that we're a part of that here at New Thought Media Network.
I do as well. I believe that New Thought Media Network is destined to play a role in, I don't know exactly what that is yet. I've got my ideas. There's a vision emerging. We've got some concepts happening, and I think we're demonstrating. If you don't know, folks, there was a really fun experience right here in this room yesterday afternoon. The extended long cut of ministers talking shit happened, and I encourage you to go check that out in the archives, because the lineup of ministers and doctors, and we're talking Dr. Tracy Brown, we're talking Reverend Dr. David Alexander,
Bishop.
Bishop
Alexander. Go ahead.
We don't have a bishop yet. And
but
please,
he is ordained a bishop, though.
And please don't plant that idea in his head. Dr. Jamie Lula, newly minted Dr. Jamie Lula is here. Dr. Reverend Harry Morgan Moses was here. My dear friend Reverend Jay Lang was here. Myself, Reverend Elzia, Reverend Victoria Bomberry, Reverend Gil Olmsted. We had 8-9 people in this room talking metaphysics, talking about the future of how this philosophy is showing up and can show up to serve the emerging vision of a world that works for everyone.
Talking about Jamie Lula, I heard that you had a hand in producing a video. Tell us about that.
Yes, we are working on, so I say working because what I was under the impression it would be released this week. It has not been released this week. Due to we're waiting for a new final cut mastering of the audio. So the audio that we had was not truly up to what it needed to be, and Jamie, now again newly minted, newly honored Dr. Jamie Lula has actually stepped up and done an amazing job. He was not intended or scheduled to be the music director of this conference. Amy Bishop is in Canada and needed to stay there. The role fell to Gary Lynn Floyd, who also needed to stay where he is in Nevada. And on Friday evening, Jamie was told, "Guess what? You're the music director," and the show starts on Tuesday. So here you go. And what normally would be a 6 to 9 month process of working with the band, making sure everybody it fell into his lap in an amazing way. And I will tell you, the music at this conference has been stellar, beyond that immediacy and that sense of rush. So our video presentation that we've been creating got pushed. Is the long story. I took the long way around there, huh? That's the long story, folks. But what it means is you can look forward to, in the coming weeks, a brand new world premiere of a brand new Floyd Lula video that New Thought Media Network has created. And we've partnered with those guys, and it's a new model for us. We want to be able to do this for artists and creators and musicians across the movement, to be able to develop music videos. And again, we're always about, I've gotten it into I got the flow. Michael, you ready?
Okay.
It's all about creating the vibration.
Right.
And from the vibration, we can create the environment. And from the environment, we create the network. And from the network, we create the community. The beloved community.
I think that we have some of the best music out there.
Oh, heck yeah.
And I think that, again, with one of our services with New Thought Radio, again, we do our best to get this out there. My own personal vision is for us to get it out on terrestrial radio. And I think that, again, that because we have some of the best inspirational music out there. On stage, I saw an all-star band with many different artists, again, sharing their talents. And I heard that Jamie, again, talk about being tossed in the fire and saying, hey, buddy, you got 5 days here to put this, less than 5 days to put this together here. And I heard that he's done a remarkable job there.
Right. And when you look at, and I want to give kudos and shout outs to everybody that's, part of that music team. Jamie's got that leadership role this time around, and he's working with Denise Rosier, and he's working with Karen Drucker, and he's working with Ray Davis from Agape, and there's and the bass player is somebody that we really want to get to know, Lisa Jacobs. She's got the groove, baby. And
wow.
So there's people like there is a group of professionals, and I don't know the drummer's name, so excuse me there. There's a group of professionals that are incredibly good at professional and good at what they do. And they've been able to come together to create something unique. That's part of what's special about these. It's not just that it's the music and it's live and it's a good time. It's the uniqueness of this lineup will never happen again. And then you got a guy like Nathan Marshall running the soundboard, who is an amazing wizard of a sound engineer. I watched this guy, this man, and he'll come out from behind the board, walk across the hall, and kind of stop a couple of times, and I can just visualize his experience of how he hears the music, because he'll go back to the board, and 2 minutes later it'll be bad. So not even 2 minutes, 20 seconds, he'll be back at the board, and I could tell he moves a couple of things and everything goes, ooh, so much cleaner, so much better, so much nicer. He takes pride in the details of what he's doing, because he could easily sit behind the board and read a book and let whatever's happening, but he's always changing and moving things to make sure that we as participants have a spiritual experience.
We're talking this evening with the Reverend Robert Brzezinski, who is our Chief Inspirational Officer here at New Thought Media Network. You're watching the Fireside Chat. This evening, I'm Pastor Michael Mangus, and I wasn't able to go this week, so I'm living vicariously through you here about all the cool stuff. I want to talk about what happened yesterday with ministers talking. And I think that if you don't,
Michael,
what?
If you can't say it, you're never going to be on it.
Okay, ministers talking shit. Okay.
There we go.
There you go. Okay. Yeah, what a wonderful lineup yesterday. And I was helping produce that, and it was funny because I was saying, I don't think people understand that ministers can have fun and they can laugh. And so I put up one of the banners I put up with is that, yes, ministers can laugh and have fun. So that was one of my banners yesterday. But again, look at that lineup there of individuals and people, again, that represent all of Centers for Spiritual Living. And again, that we're forming again and being a part of the vision of taking this message out now to the masses. That's what we're doing. So anything, any new programming you can tell us, or is it still in production?
Let's see. What secret can I give away? I can say that I've had some incredibly productive conversations with people, like, let's say, Reverend Dr. Harry Morgan Moses.
No.
And I've had some pretty powerful conversations with people like Reverend Sunshine Day, and have had some incredible conversations with people like Dr. Tracy Brown, and I am incredibly excited to be bringing Gabriella Claiborne onto New Thought Today and scheduling an interview with her and helping our network to see more of who she is and the gift she's bringing to the world. So we're filling up our guest list, that's for sure. We're having a number of conversations with potential new show hosts. And more than anything, I think we're solidifying the idea that this is a new concept in the world and this is a new way of doing ministry, and that there's something valid. There's some more than something. There is validity here. Before we go, I do want to give a huge shout out to our dear friend, soon to be Reverend Laura Topper. And for those that may have not heard, she was awarded the Global Services Award for 2022 as a recognition of all the work she has done in Region 12. That's what we call all of our non-American, North American, South American people. Region 12, all the work she has done to share the science of mind and New Thought and the Center for Spiritual Living on a global scale. And we're incredibly excited to celebrate her and grateful that she's a part of what we're doing here, grateful that she has been able to see this vision from the very beginning and was one of the very earliest people to say, yes, let's go. And to witness her being recognized on that international level today is a pretty powerful example of the leadership that's installed and that is here and ready. Not just me, you're involved, Michael. We've got other ministers involved in other places. And Laura is a great example of what you can accomplish and will accomplish when you live these principles.
Yes, Laura, I'm so proud of her. I think that she has done, again, somebody who, from her wonderful little apartment, which is on the coast, and also south of London, that she reaches the world from there. And again, it's because of the technology that we have, and again, because of New Thought Media Network. And again, that's why I really encourage individuals and people to partner with us. You have I'm just talking to our audience here, you have the opportunity of helping us reach the world. And that's been one of the criticisms in the past, is that we have not used media to its fullest extent. Now we're able to. Again, I'm, talking from the concrete bunker this evening. So, we're able to reach the world from where we're at. Laura is able to reach the world from, again, from the coast in south of London. So I think, again, this is our time here. This is our time to go out there and, again, not to proselytize, but to share this powerful message to the world. And I'm just so glad to be a partner with New Thought Media Network and having all of us, again, join our talents together to be able to get this message out there.
Yes. And Michael, I've been meaning to tell you, by the way, I have been working diligently to determine where your secret bunker is.
Okay.
And I know that the nuclear bunker property that you sent me to look at was a decoy, was a ruse. But I also realized that I have 2 years of uncashed paychecks for you.
Okay.
Because we don't know where to send them.
Well, next time I come to Denver, just give them to me. Okay. I'll be more than happy to, or I'll tell you what, give them to Diego. Okay. Winston needs fed. All right. So we have to feed Winston the pig. That's Diego's pet pig. Well, anything else then from the conference? So you're going to start packing up and then come back tomorrow then? Is that the schedule?
I'm going to dinner.
Okay.
And then we have a closing ceremony this evening. And today does happen to be the 135th anniversary of Reverend Dr. Ernest Holmes's birth. So yes, it's Ernest Holmes's birthday. We all sang happy birthday to him in the hall this morning. And this evening, there is a very classic talk that Dr. Ernest Holmes gave near the end of his life at the Whittier Church in Whittier, California. We collectively call it the Cosmic Consciousness Experience. And there is a group of ministers that have come together to create a multimedia live and video-based presentation and reading of that talk. I think I can already feel a little emotional about it. I think it's going to be a very powerful evening and a very powerful way to close this most historic conference as we reemerge from the COVID era and as we step back out into the world with this moral and spiritual imperative to take this message forward and activate it, use it, live it, and through that, we create a world that works for everyone.
And again, Robert is going to several New Thought conferences this year, again, to continue our outreach to the churches and centers. And also, again, if you are watching this evening or whenever that you are watching on YouTube, understand that this is the new time. If you are not using this technology of the internet, that's okay. We can teach you.
Yep.
If I can learn how to do video, being a radio guy, anybody can learn how to do video, believe me. Because again, it's just, up till a couple of years ago, I did not do any type of video whatsoever. And watch and look, I'm doing a weekly show, and also I'm producing now, which is unbelievable. I never thought I'd produce video. But again, we have a lot of shows that, and the other thing too, I think, Robert, is that, please share with the ministers is that we need to do this together. Okay. Yes. This is not, you don't have to do it alone anymore.
Yep.
We can do this together. We have the wherewithal to be able then to take this message to the world. So again, they don't have to do it alone. We'll train them. We'll teach them. We'll teach your staff. A lot of good stuff going on.
Yep.
All right. So we have music in the background, which tells me to be quiet. Thank you again, Reverend.
I need a producer like you that you've got. I need.
Yes, you do need Diego. All right, go get some dinner, and thank you so very much. The Reverend Robert Brzezinski, again from the CSL convention in Palm Springs, California. Peace, and you have a safe trip back. Well, again, folks, thank you so very much for joining us this evening. We appreciate you so much. Again, take a look at all of our schedule here on ntmedia.org. Lots of things going on here. And again, if you'd like to produce a show, we can teach you. Again, if I can be taught, you can be taught. So again, on behalf of all of us here at the New Thought Media Network, this is Pastor Michael Mangus, again, wishing you a wonderful week.
Thanks for joining us this evening for Friday's Fireside Chat with Pastor Michael Mangus. Join us again next week at 8 Eastern, 6 Mountain for more spiritual conversations for today. For more information and replays of past shows, please visit the New Thought Radio and Media Network's Facebook page. Until next week, may God bless you richly and abundantly.
New Thought Media Network is on the rise. We're looking to grow with you. Do you have technical media experience or perhaps a desire to learn? Are you willing to volunteer your precious time and attention? We share this message to benefit all. If you possess a computer with a camera and a microphone, we will share our knowledge with you. Behind the scenes or being the star, let us bless our one. Contact us at info@ntmedia.org.